You know what it is. You got your girl, Katlego Mahlasela, your favorite host, your favorite girl. This is Get to Know the Artist, and this Musical Friday. When you see me, you see beautiful artists with different genres. They're killing it. Afrobeats, hip hop, born. Outside of cat fan. Whatever DJs born. House silo to rinda.
Took the whip and drove it down the runway. I guess that's what kept me going. Play some songs on air as I drove away. As I took the roadway. Service stations as I crossed the highway. That's what kept me going. Took the whip and drove it down the runway. Yeah, messing with my mind like window pane. Felt your presence in the room before you came. Yeah, whispers in my ear, but they're too vague. I need danger just to get you on my brain.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome, man. It's been. I've been waiting to do this interview with you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
I'm so excited to have you today. Can you please just introduce yourself? Who's J Sollen?
J Sollen is an artist who is living here in Vanderbilt Park. Shout out to the 016. I'm a 22-year-old artist. Professionally, I've been doing music for about 4 years.
Oof, it's been a while.
But I've been doing it my whole life. Just saying professionally.
You start. Okay.
Yeah, man. My name is Sollen, but my friends call me Sinto or Jay, which comes from my first name, Jacinto. That's where J Sollen.
Oh, yeah. That's how it originated.
Yeah.
And today we have J Sollen.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you please tell us about the type of music that you create and what do you want your audience to learn from the type of content that you come up with?
Okay, so I'd like to see myself or think myself as a very alternative artist. You know, meaning that I can go from making hip hop to R&B or pop. It really just depends on my energy, my mental state, and I guess the resources that are there at the moment. But in terms of concepts or messages that I want people to get from my music, it's always been one thing, and that's always been self-actualization. You know, I want to help people drive towards that whole concept of self-actualization by using either the experience of love as a whole, not just like romantically, but I'm talking about love as like a social concept, as an individual concept as well, you know. So either like helping people to reach self-acknowledgement and self-actualization through love or freedom, because I feel like once you have love in a particular area, then automatically freedom is going to go with, you know, and vice versa. So that's the type of content that I make, that I focus on, self-actualization through either love or freedom.
Love or freedom.
Yeah.
So I guess that what ignites your passion of music.
Yeah, that's definitely what ignites my passion for music. It's the whole concept of self-actualization. Yeah, but I think musically, for it to be something that got ignited, it was like I said, I've been doing music my whole life, but before that it wasn't necessarily a passion, you know. I was just always attending churches or going to Sunday school choirs, and my dad always made me like attend those and also like be the type of person leading those songs and stuff like that, because he was into music. Like he played the keyboard. So every time he would go to a church, he would offer to play the instruments for them, and then I from my side would have to go into Sunday school and just, you know, attend the choirs and stuff.
Okay, yeah. When you said love, freedom, it started from church at home, and the love that you have from Sunday school as a child. Yeah. It comes back to a thing of giving. Yeah, because you guys once hosted, I'm not going to say a show, but you hosted and you had a specific sponsors that help you guys to donate clothes and give back to the ones that can't do it for themselves. So when you're saying love, freedom, taking back to church, it was like, oh man, as a young person, what inspires you to do that for other people? Because I feel like in our generation right now, people are just out for themselves. Do you understand? They don't really consider that there's a next person that needs their help, or that needs something, or there's small bread that you're eating, if you could share with somebody else. There's people that do that, and then there's you that has the foundation. And even today, I feel like the rules that you were taught from Sunday school at church, through your music, love. If you have love, you know how to give. That's what the Bible says, right? And then freedom and freeing others people to have better in life. What inspires you, man? What motivates you as a young person?
As a young person, I would say like things that kind of drive me towards doing stuff like that, like giving, is the most part has a lot to do with the place that I grew up in. You know, I'm from Kasi. You know, I grew up in Tumelo. It's basically just a childhood where your parents do their best to, you know, to provide for you and kind of shield that reality of you actually realizing that you guys are not really financially fortunate or anything like that. But regardless of that, they were able to kind of give me the things that I needed and, you know, help me grow up feeling like I was normal. You know, I just wanted to adopt that from my family, and it was something that I was also seeing in the neighborhood where like you would get raised or babysitted by neighbors, and they would do it for free and stuff like that, you know. So just growing up in that neighborhood and like under that family just naturally makes you want to do the same, you know. And honestly, I feel like a lot of people do want to help out, but for me, something that kind of like a big thing that helped me just start implementing these changes instead of having it as something that's just an idea. It had a lot to do with talking to people about it. Because once you start talking to people about giving back to the community, literally everyone has an idea, but it's just a matter of like bringing people bringing the people together, and then like having them, you know, having you guys do the whole thing. So yeah, that's how the whole thing like aspired.
In 2020, man, you released an album called Moon Beach. Your visuals, the art that came with that album, like it just want me to ask, what inspired that body of work, man? Because even the visuals, how they were prepared, you would see everything was totally organized.
The creation of the album is basically a whole story, man, because for me to create that album, I was actually taking a break from music at that time, and I was trying to explore like other creative endeavors, you know. So I was like, you know, I'm really good at writing, so let me just try to explore how far that could take me. And I was just like, let me try and write a novel, you know. And I was like, let me try and think of the randomest thing I could ever write about. So I was just there in my bedroom staring at the ceiling, and I'm like, I want to write a story about some guy who goes to the moon and finds this power source hidden under the moon that can enable him to power his ship so he could like travel across galaxies and stuff like that, you know. So I'm like thinking out this concept, and I start summarizing the story into different chapters, you know. And I remember starting to be very like frustrated as I'm writing this, because I was starting to realize that this is actually a pretty good story, and I was starting to like envision myself publishing my first novel and people loving it. But I think the problem that would come after that would be wanting like a movie or a series being like made from that novel. And I was like, man, this is South Africa. It's like, where am I gonna find people who can make that, you know? And I remember, I think for about 2 weeks or so, just giving up on the whole idea. And then that's when I had my epiphany. I was like, bro, you literally create experiences for a living. Why don't you just take this concept and just apply it into music and try to tell the essence of that story through music, you know? So I started doing that, and then because I was still kind of like not sure about the whole process, because at first it was an EP. I was like, this is an experimental project, so let me make it an EP. So I made an EP, and then I had a EP listening session, and this was during COVID, so it was kind of illegal to do that. But a lot of people who showed up at that time were strictly J Sollen fans, man. And for me, that was like, it was a life altering moment, because I was like, for people to literally just risk everything just to show up. And like I hadn't really promoted the event that much. It was just like a low-key thing for me to put out something that low-key and people to show up. It just kind of just boosted my confidence and changed the way I see myself. And then from there on, I was like, just after getting that feedback from people of the EP, I was like, I'm gonna take this further and not just try to explain the essence of the story that came from the book through music. I'm gonna try to incorporate the real story, because like music can only take you so far in terms of like telling stories. So I was just trying to do something different, like where I could make music that are based on that concept, but also incorporate the storyline behind it. So there I was in my room, man, with my microphone. I'm recording myself running. I'm recording dialogues. I'm screaming like random things to like the ceilings and stuff like that. You know, computer. What are the thrusters? You know, stuff like that. It was just random things, and then it actually ended up becoming a script. I wrote down a script. I sent some of the scripts to my other friends, DMing them, asking them to, you know, just role play the whole thing. Yeah. And then magically it came together, man, and then Moon Beach came to be.
If you're creative, you're just a creative.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Thank you.
The latest collab that you have was with Sandrop Gardens.
Yeah.
You understand? And she did a remix for your song Wrong Way.
Yeah.
Can you please tell? It's an international one, actually. Can you please tell me about that collaboration?
Okay, so it was 2 years ago. It was 2020, right? And I think it was around. Okay, I can't remember the month exactly, but it was just before August, because every month Sundrop Garden drops an album, right? And she was teasing her next album, and what she did was she kind of posted this snippet of something from her upcoming album at the time, and she posted this challenge saying that, you know, if people can sample her vocals or make beats or whatever, she's gonna like just take all of those submissions and put them on SoundCloud, you know, as kind of like a challenge thing. I don't even think there was supposed to be a winner for that. So I took that because at that time I was trying to work on something myself, so I was feeling very creative at the time. So I took her samples, I took her vocals, sampled them, and then I made a beat from it. And then the beat was just so good, I just couldn't help myself. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna sing on this. And then I did. After that, I submitted the song to her because I wanted to take part in the challenge. I DM'd her, hey June, I'm a fan. I just did this remix from the vocals that you sent me, and I want to participate in the challenge. And she listened to it. She told me it was good. She put it on SoundCloud, right? And then I think 3 weeks down the line, she DMs me. She's like, yo, I've been bumping this for so long. Everyone in the studio has been repeating this track nonstop. FKJ is playing this in a car. My manager wants to put this on the album, right? And she asked me, she's like, we still have the stems for this project? And I'm like, yeah, I made everything myself. I still have it on the PC. And she asked me to send her everything. I didn't know why. I thought maybe she wanted to, you know, just work on the quality of it and make it better. I think after a week after sending her that, she sends me the whole project, and it sounds amazing. And she's like, yo, can I please put this on my album, because it's just so damn good. And I was like, yeah, definitely, you can do that. And then August came in, she dropped the album, and then there I am, Wrong Way, featuring Sollen on the album, and I was just, oh man, I lost my mind. And then I think 2 months later after that, she hits me up again. She's like, yo, we're gonna make a music video for this song. And I'm like, damn, are you serious? Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to be on the music video because I was still working on my album at the time, and I was just kind of going through some things, so I couldn't incorporate my visuals into the project. But it still came out beautifully anyway, and I was like, oh man, I can't believe I did. You know, yeah. Couldn't believe that I made a song with June Marie, so yeah, that was really cool.
And on top of that, bro, like I don't know how you get this to work with international artists.
Yeah.
But you worked with on 2 songs.
Yeah.
With an LA producer, like in LA, bro. 2 songs. Whoa.
Yeah.
How do you get a chance to work with this international artist? Like,
honestly, it's social media, man. It's social media. Sometimes like the randomest people follow me on social media, and so sometimes if I have time, I just check them out. Like, oh, this person's a rapper. Let me listen to his music. This person's a producer. So Will just followed me on Instagram, and then I checked because I'm the one who hit him up. I checked out his stuff on Instagram, and I was like, man, this guy makes amazing beats. And so I hit him up. I was like, yo, I just listened to your stuff. Could we please collaborate on something? Oof. And then the next day he hit me up. He's like, yo, I just listened to your music. I'm definitely interested. Let's do something. And it's so crazy how fast like people from other countries are. We had like a 5-minute conversation, and then he emailed me like a zip file of like I think 10 beats or something, and he was like, yo bro, anytime, whatever, you can hop on as many as you want, and some of these you don't even have to create something with me. These are just yours. I'm giving these to you because I think you make good music. And I was like, wow. Oh. Someone from here could have charged me like 1.5 for it. Yeah, so I'm like, oh man, that's really cool. And so I took 2 of those beats, and then I made a song called Sad Bot, and then another one called Sofa, which was kind of like an EP, a collaboration EP that I made with him. And then that was our first project. We actually have a lot more projects than that. We just have to drop them. That's the thing. Yeah.
So you just by outsourcing, by just being on the socials for the right reasons.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I'm not really like a social media type person. Every time I'm there, it's strictly for work, you know. So yeah, I'm happy that every time I go there, there's literally something that you benefit.
Yeah. I hope you guys are taking notes. Don't be out there on the socials being influencers without the bag. Be there to create the bag, please.
Yeah.
I'm driving down the wrong way, just to get my conscience facing one way. I know we have plans on Sunday. Till then, I guess I'll just do my own thing. Your fragrance in the room, passing me a loose. You passed me from the blind side, now I'm after you. Torture in my mind, so I took the whip and drove it down the wrong way. I guess that's what keep me going. Play some songs on airlines, I drove far away. Only way I'm coping.
I saw this post on Instagram whereby you were sharing your personal, I say emotions. Do you understand? And you said, well, part of that you stated that you come in a situation and you come out as a different person.
Yeah.
What enlightened that, and what are the problems that you were referring to, you were facing to?
Okay, so at that time we were talking about the overall difficulty of creating an album and some of the challenges that, like you just said, that you have to deal with. And for me at that time, it was 2 biggest things. The first thing was just the whole process of creating. You know, I think I'd like to compare the process of creating something. It doesn't really matter what kind of artist you are. Creating a body of work being something almost as similar to pregnancy and childbirth. You know? Everyone expects the process to be this beautiful thing. you're in tune with yourself and you're glowing, and but nah, bro, you're fighting demons. It's like yo, man, you're concerned about your body image. You have anxiety about the most stupidest, like the stupid things, man. It was like and for me it was like the toll it took on me to create that, because I was so embedded in the process of creating this album. Like I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping. Sometimes I would forget to bathe for like 2 days or something, and I would constantly just be like in my room. I wasn't getting any sunlight. I used to have like this blanket that I would put over the window to kind of like dim the lights, because for me at that time, I just wanted to like be focused on just finishing that, and I didn't want to do anything else. So obviously you go through something like that, and then you put out the album, and it's like those things they don't just go away. Because I think for the biggest part, it's like now you've finished the project, but you're left with these habits that you have developed, and now you have to like grow out of it. You have to exercise, you have to eat right again, and now it's like you're concerned about your image. You feel like you keep on asking yourself, am I even worthy to create something as beautiful as this? And then after feeling that, you literally have to go to other people and ask for, because like there's also the concept of promoting your album after you've put it out. So now you have like so much anxiety and a negative self-image, but you want to put yourself out there to perform for people. It's like I have a problem with my weight now and how I look. I feel like my skin is dark, but I'm still out here like trying to perform to people who are literally going to be like looking at me and stuff like that. So that was like the hardest thing I had to get out of, and I kind of like just one of the thing that kind of like helped me go above that was just accepting a situation for what it is, and like slowly knowing that there is room for you to improve, to recover, to heal. And it's not always the end. That was like the first challenge, and then the second challenge that kind of made the whole experience very difficult for me was
something in the air when you're here with me. I cannot escape this or keep it concealed. Love the atmosphere when you're here with me. You got me out here.
Your second challenge, you're about to tell me about the second challenge that you faced, that you're focusing on.
The second challenge was just finding, I would say, continued support from like the people that I needed support from the most, especially in terms of gigs and stuff. I don't know, like I feel like sometimes we as artists, like me, myself included, like we can be very petty sometimes, especially if you want help from someone and they can't really give it to you at the time, and then you start feeling like everyone is like going against you, or they're trying to like stop you from progressing, So the biggest challenge, I guess, for me, the second one, was just being okay with people not being able to help me at that time, because when I was creating the album was like 80% done at the time. My equipment just fell apart, man. My laptop crashed, and I couldn't really access the beats and stuff that I was working, and I needed to like get help from other people, but they couldn't help me at that time because they were working on their own projects, or they either wanted me to kind of like pay full price for everything, where I only had, let's say, half the amount they wanted me to bring, So things like that, and just, I guess, holding a grudge, and then just being petty in my own way, I feel like ultimately I started realizing that you need to work with people, as much as you can do everything by yourself, but it's not it's not good like that, like there has to be like a social element to it. So for me, it was just about learning how to forgive people, and just starting with people on a clean slate, and giving people the opportunity redeem themselves, I guess, if you feel like they did you wrong or something like that.
So would you say that as a South African artist, this does international sound or international music, those basically are the challenges that you face?
Yeah. I think also the thing about like being an international artist and having like the challenges that come with it is also working with international people. Like you can't meet with these people like personally. Like as an artist, I love it when we're working on something and then we have that personal connection, you know. Like I had to do probably a lot of like video calls with the Sundrop Garden, like with Jude Marie's, just to get that song to be on the album, you know. And I would have loved to have that personal encounter with that person. Even with Will, when we were working on the songs, like I would have loved to have that personal. Yeah, there's just something about that personal connection that makes the experience so much more beautiful, you know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, as an international artist, that's also one of my biggest challenges.
You just mentioned that you're straight on diet.
Yeah.
Eating healthy and everything.
Yeah.
And bro, you're also a vegan.
Yeah, I'm vegetarian actually.
Oh, yeah, so you don't eat meat.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the difference being vegetarian and not being vegetarian?
Okay, so the difference between vegetarian and non-vegetarian is obviously the concept of not eating meat.
Okay.
But it's different from veganism or being vegan, where when you're a vegetarian, you don't eat meat products, but you can still eat things that come from animals. You know, like you can eat eggs, you can eat dairy. Whereas with veganism, it's not only about that, and it's not only based on food. Like when you're a vegan, you can't eat eggs or drink milk, and you also can't wear leather, you can't wear cotton, you wear anything that comes from an animal, or you know, because they have like this belief. Ultimately, that product that has been made is in its own way contributing to the suffering of animals, you know. Whereas with vegetarians, it's strictly direct. Whereas you don't want to put something in your body that comes from like a dead animal, you know. Because like as a creative, I feel like that's also my philosophy, saying you can't ingest death and expect life. You know, so it's like, yeah. So and energy is everything for me. You know, so if maybe let's say the animal hasn't been killed in a humane way, like let's say maybe it experienced some kind of torture, because torture is really objective. It's not really subjective. You know, you don't really know that like the mental state of an animal. Like let's say cows, for example, like, and they're caged in some kind of factory where they don't get enough sunlight, and the mother doesn't even have the opportunity to raise its young and stuff like that, because they're keeping them at two different locations. You know, things like that have an impact on like the animal's body as well. You know, and then you're taking in that energy as a person too. It's obviously going to affect your energy as well. So for me, just having and developing and looking more into that has led me to like the commitment of becoming plant-based, because it's not really like about vegetarian or veganism anymore. You know, it's just about life consciousness, basically. Yeah.
So when you, in the process of creating your music, what is your strongest trait? Is it vocalist? Or vocal mastering, or is it the music, the sound, So what's your strongest trait? What are you like good at or creating bits?
Yeah. Man, I'm kind of like torn between two things. So it's I would have to say it's somewhere between writing and just the freedom of doing whatever I want. I feel like at some point, regardless of how difficult it may be to like, I would say, express that individuality or that uniqueness, I'm always going to find a way to do it and just like perfect it in its own way. You know, that's my strongest trait. So between that and writing, because I think I'm a really good writer. I feel like my songs are as good as they are because I know what to say and how to say it.
For the main fact that you wrote a novel for an album.
Yeah.
Not everybody could do that. That's something else. And even the concept of how you came about it. Do you understand? It was not really based on everyday life or whatever people know about. It's just a different concept. I understand. Before you even, and we're like, okay, if I can't do this and publish the book for now, how about I come up with it? That's exactly. It shows you good. Besides music, man, any talents you have, because I could see with the music you're mastering international producers, international features and collabs. Besides music, any talent that you're good at?
I would have to say writing. I mean, like, you know, because I don't just think, I'm a writer. I think I'm a creative writer, or just like a writer in general. I've scripts, I have poems, I have just things that I've just, you know, thoughts that I write about, like life and, you know, just things like that, you know. So I feel like besides music, if I wasn't maybe doing music, I would be doing something, even journalism, I guess. I would just be doing something, that involves writing.
Great writer.
Yeah.
So are DMs available for Luka collaboration?
DMs open.
For Luka collaboration,
Yeah, as long as the music is good, I'm open for collaborations,
So, any upcoming projects that we could look forward to?
Yeah, I'm actually working on an EP.
Okay.
It's the date hasn't been confirmed yet, but I definitely know it's going to be next month, somewhere in October. It's called the 5 Sutras. It's something that's actually been helping me get over the challenge that I told you about just looking at yourself differently when you're creating something, just getting out of that, because it took a really long time for me to get out of that. Even now, I'm still kind of dealing with minor things. So this project that I'm creating right now has really kind of like helped me get out of this bubble of negative self-image and, you know, just dealing with self-doubt and stuff like that. And it's because the thing about my music, I love giving practical knowledge to people. I want to give something that people can apply into their own lives to become better people, you know. So obviously this is based on my own life experiences, but I'm trying my best to be as objective as I can to people about it, so that they can be encouraged to take in those techniques and adjust them wherever they need to adjust them, and then just incorporate that into their own lives and become better people. So it's an EP, it's a 5-track EP, but it's dropping in October, and hopefully it can help a lot of people get out of like the negative image concept and then project towards self-actualization.
Any sneak peek who you working with?
I'm just gonna say more international music. I'm working with someone from France right now.
Whoa, you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to do like funk and disco music now. So a lot of like French people are good with that. So that's what I'm working on. Yeah.
Okay. Are you serious?
Yeah, definitely.
Let me just say, thanks for coming to the interview, because I was chilling here the whole day trying to find out more. Because you're giving me Mahlasela vibes, Tandonje, you know. So like when I'm listening to you, like I feel like it gives me that vibe, that mood. Because now I'm deep on underground music more than your actual people. You know, I'm deep on that more than like the actual artists that say, nah, that's not my music. If I'm listening to this specific jam, I'm good to go.
Okay.
So I'll definitely check out more and find out what's going on. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. Look me up, man. J Sollen, Papa Cento, Instagram, Facebook. Or just go to Google and type in J Sollen and find everything.
Oh, obviously. How in the hell can I go to Google and I don't find G? No way, bro. Thanks for pulling up. Looking forward to more conversation. I feel like I could learn a lot, actually.
Oh, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Akit, one more word for our audience before I close. Few words.
Nope, I've said everything I needed to say.
You're good.
5 Sutras coming in like next month. Make sure to drop it. Make sure to check it out. It's gonna be everywhere, man, on all platforms. That's all I gotta say.
I think I've never been so speechless in an interview where you gotta sit down with somebody that's gonna tell you the most. Guys, it's either Instagram, it's influence, it's using you, or you are using Instagram. Because now, like, I'm learning a lot. I feel like if you're there in the socials, do it for the better and do it for your growth and do it for yourself. Don't be out there getting influenced by low-key things that are not really important. So make sure you're there for the right reasons. I'm still your host, I'm still your girl, still doing the most and still doing the thing. Bona, Vut Campustv is about to launch an app, so don't forget to check it out on Play Store. It's out there, it's coming soon. The launch is going to be the 15th of October. Looking forward to it. Bona, this is Kat, your girl, your favorite host. Don't forget to interact. You can't be hearing and having an international artist. We're with working people, with collabs from France, from LA. Guys, what are you doing? Because I feel like I ain't doing anything about my life, but it's not about me, it's about J Sollen. Thanks for pulling up. This is a very nice show. Looking forward to more shows. Thank you for tuning in.
Trying to find a portal, that's the only other way. 40 million miles, I'm in outer space. I find you, you're